This lesson is brought to you by Michael Blair Virtual School and the Lanjago Kali Foundation, headed by His Royal Highness now Professor Lanjago Kali II. Hello viewers, welcome to the Michael Blair Virtual School. My name is Michael Blair Tasiame, a 15-year-old level 300 student pursuing bachelor degree in mathematics and ICT. I had the privilege to complete junior high school education at age 9 and thereafter represented the Fafraha Community Day Senior High School at the National Science and Maths Quiz Competition at age 11. My background, competencies and experience gave me the privilege to teach you mathematics the way you love it and excel in all your mathematics examinations. Come on board and let's learn together. Today, we shall look at a lesson from the Basic 9 Standard-Based Curriculum for Junior High School, or the Common Core Program Mathematics for Basic 9. And that is the first strand in Basic 9 Mathematics, second substrand, first content standard, and first learning indicator. That is multiply and divide given numbers by powers of 10, including benchmark fractions. By the end of this lesson, you the learner should be able to 1. Know what powers of 10 are and give appropriate examples. 2. Multiply powers of 10 by giving numbers. And finally, you should also be able to divide powers of 10 by giving numbers. So let's start with our first learning objective, which is knowing powers of 10. Powers of 10 is just two words which have been joined with the word of, and that is power and 10, or powers and 10. What is a power? In mathematics, when we say power, powers are normally numerals which are found on top of other numerals. So they tell you the number of times the number multiplies itself. If I say 3 power 2, that is, the power 2 is telling you to multiply 3 by itself 2 times. So that is 3 times 3. Likewise, if I say 5 power 3, the power 3 is telling you to multiply 5 by itself 3 times, which is 5 times 5 times 5. But in today's lesson, we shall look at purely multiplying powers of 10. So let's start with the least power, which is, or the least whole number power, which is 10 power 0. 10 power 0 is 1. Any 10 power 0 is 1. So 10 power 0 is also 1. 10 power 1 is 10. That is 10 multiplying itself once. So it will still be 10. 10 power 2 will mean 10 times 10, which is going to be 100. 10 power 3 will mean 10 times 10 times 10, which is equal to 1000. So therefore, we can say the powers of 10 are 0, 10, 100, and 1000. We can further move on by finding other powers like 10 power 5, which is to multiply 10 by itself 5 times. Okay, now that we know this, let's learn how to multiply powers of 10 by any given number or any given expression. So let's take a given number like 2.0. 2.0 is the same as 2. It's being multiplied by a power of 10, let's say 100. How do I do this? There is a very simple method of doing this multiplication, and it is called let the decimal jump. So we are going to let the decimal be jumping throughout. That is how we are going to get our answers. Very interesting method, very nice way of multiplying any given number by power of 10. So what we do here is that if we are multiplying, multiplication will tell you to move the decimal from this side to the other side. Now, knowing this very well, you know that we are going to be moving our decimal point to our right hand. How do we do this? We ask ourselves, how many zeros are found given? And this time, our power of 10 is 100. Very good, I heard you say 2 zeros, and that is correct. If you now know that there are 2 zeros in 100 or 100, you need to jump the decimal to the right side 2 times. The number of zeros tells you how many times the decimal is going to jump, and the multiplication symbol tells you that you should jump to your right. So the decimal point is going to jump 1, 2. By doing this, you see that there is sort of an empty space which must be filled with 0. After jumping, if you realize that there are empty spaces, then you have to fill those empty spaces with 0. And our new number is 200. Therefore, 2.0 times 100 will give us 200. Shall we try another example, whereby this time we are going to be multiplying 3.63 times 1000. Is this big? Oh, jumping the decimal or let the decimal jump is going to solve this in a very simple way. So first of all, there are 3 zeros in the given power of 10, which is 1000. So if you know that there are 3 zeros in 1000, then you are going to jump 3 times. And when you see multiplication tells you to jump to your right hand side. So jumping to your right hand side 3 times. So 3.63, we are going 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. After jumping, you see that there is an empty house there, and that house must be filled with 0. So with this, you can see our answer of 3630. In as much as we are multiplying, can we also divide? Yes, we can do division. Sometimes we will be given certain numbers, and doing division with those numbers and power of 10 would be very easier if we use jumping the decimal or let the decimal jump. So let's take one of our examples in division, like dividing 4.0 by 100. 4 divided by 100. 4.0 is the same as 4. So if I say 4 divided by 100, I've not changed the question. So 4.0 divided by 100, the zeros or the number of zeros in 100 are 2, which means that we are going to be jumping the decimal point twice. But the only change here is that instead of jumping it to the right hand, we have to jump it to the left hand, because we are dividing. When we divide, we go left. When we multiply, we go right. When we divide, we go left. When we multiply, we go right. And in order to remember this, you can use DLRN. DLRN. So if I say DL, you respond RN. When we divide, it's left. When we go right, that means we are multiplying. When we divide, it's left. When we go right, that means we are multiplying. So we are dividing. We are going to jump the decimal point 2 times because there are 2 zeros in 100, and we are going to do this jumping to the left hand side. So jumping to the left hand side will mean that this decimal point goes over the 4, so I jumped 1 and goes again. Very good. Now I told you that the empty houses must be filled with 0. So that means we have 0, 4, 0. But that's not the answer. The decimal point has moved forward. So the decimal point will be in front of the 0 we are having here. And after putting the decimal point there, it is not good to put a decimal point without putting a number in front of the decimal point. When you do that, the number will be pronounced wrong. If you do this, people will say it is 0.040. So you have to put 0 in front of the decimal point if there is nothing to stand there, because we all know that 0 means nothing. So instead of saying 0.040, we are going to say 0.040. If we've been able to divide it, then that tells us that we can equally divide 6.32 by 10. 6.32 divided by 10. We are dividing, so we move left. Don't forget DLRM. Let's be reminded of that. Division goes left, that is DL. Right hand side for multiplication. So DL, we are dividing, so we are going to go left. How many times are we going to jump the decimal point to the left hand side? How would you know that? Brilliant of you. You have to move the decimal point to the left hand side only once, because that will be determined by the number of zeros in the given power of 10. So the number of zeros in 10 is 1, and therefore we move the decimal point to the left hand side 1. So our answer will be 0.632. Since there is no number to stand in front of the decimal point, who remembers what I said earlier? Okay, that's a good try. You have to put 0 in front of the decimal point because 0 means nothing. So our answer will now be 0.632. With this understanding, I believe you should be able to solve the following questions on the screen. You do number 1 to 5. And when you are done, send your answers to michaelblessschool@gmail.com. I would like to draw the curtain on today's lesson. We learned about, first of all, powers of 10. So we say a power, and we also looked at what it means to say power of 10. We further looked at how to multiply numbers by giving powers of 10, that is, moving to the right hand side when you are multiplying, and that must be done based on the number of zeros in that given power of 10. Yes, we looked at division, and in the division, DLRM, division left, right hand side for multiplication. So division also uses the number of zeros in the given power of 10 to jump the decimal, just that it is done to the left hand side. When we finished that, we drew, or we gave ourselves some questions, and we were told to send the answers to michaelblessschool@gmail.com. It has been Michael Bless teaching mathematics in its different perspective, that is in the creative perspective, here on Michael Bless Virtual School. Let's hit the subscribe button, let's like the video, let's comment on the video, and as well share the video to all our friends. Bye for now. Before I leave you, remember ELRN.